site of a tragic double life-taking is no place to wander at night, and the investigators in this video learned that the hard way. Uploaded to YouTube by the victim's family in October 2017, this ghost hunt has all the makings of a nightmare: an abandoned house deep in the woods, a raging storm, and a Ouija board. The host, Aiden, explains the chilling backstory. Legend has it that two male lovers built this secluded mansion at a time when their relationship wasn't accepted. They met a grim fate within its walls, and while their attackers were sentenced to life in 1982, the discovery of occult tools, eerie books, and macabre decor turned the case into a media spectacle. The men were unfairly labeled as devil worshippers, adding to the house's infamy. Determined to uncover the truth, the ghost hunters set out at midnight in the middle of a storm, aiming to reach Corpsewood Manor by 3 a.m. After navigating the dense forest by car, they continue on foot, uncertain of their path and prepared to lose their way. As they reach a fork in the road and finally stumble upon the manor's remains, Aiden hears a deep, unsettling grumble, though he concedes it could just be the thunder.
I heard like a grumbling, but that might have been thunder.
Aiden freezes, convinced he just heard footsteps. Determined to find the source, he insists on checking it out, believing someone or something is moving in the darkness. Aiden freezes, convinced he just heard footsteps. Determined to find the source, he insists on checking it out, believing someone or something is moving in the darkness.
I heard someone over there. Weird.
Jared is on edge after hearing another noise coming from the trees.
Dude, I heard something.
No, you did not.
They finally decide to leave as Jared just can't handle it anymore. And honestly, who could blame him? As they make their way out, Aiden suddenly remembers something chilling. When he sat at the Ouija board and attempted to open a portal to the spirit world, he forgot to say goodbye. Ever since that moment, he claims, strange things have been happening. All I know is that place definitely feels haunted. Musta Sven is one of the rare fearless paranormal explorers from Iraq, and he's easily among the best. This time, he dares to take on a 24-hour challenge inside a terrifying abandoned house he's always dreaded entering. It doesn't take long before eerie entities make their presence known, with every unsettling moment captured on 2 cameras. At first, it's just small, unexplainable things, like a shadow shifting oddly in the hallway behind him. It might be his hand, but the movement doesn't align quite right, and the angles seem off. Not long after, even creepier events unfold on camera. The backpack is designed to be well balanced and shouldn't tip over, yet it does, and that fact unsettles him. He tries to recreate the situation and cannot. Beyond the eerie noises, the backpack is just one of many objects captured on camera mysteriously moving on this haunted night. A stone quietly loosens from the mantle and crashes to the floor, soon followed by another. The poltergeist seems determined to tear this house apart, brick by brick, stopping at nothing to drive the ghost hunter away. A padlock bounces on its own like a ghost is trying to open the door. Watch carefully and decide for yourself. Is this the work of a poltergeist, or is someone on the other side of the door slipping a stick through the crack? Just as I started to doubt whether this video was truly paranormal, it takes a chilling turn, becoming one of the creepiest I've seen in a long time. A rising wail of spirits closing and makes him realize this 24-hour challenge needs to be cut about 20 hours short, so he wastes no time and finally leaves. YouTuber Dark Life calls this the worst eerie find he's ever encountered in an abandoned house. Dennis, clearly uneasy, admits he didn't bring his tent.
Ладно, пойду я дальше, не буду терять время. Сегодня я без палатки, поэтому ночевать я здесь не буду оставаться.
Later, inside, a spirit confirms that she is there.
Здесь кто-нибудь есть из мира мертвых?
The spirit says that she remembers her relatives.
Помнишь что-нибудь из жизни? Ты что-нибудь помнишь из жизни?
As Dennis stands in the darkness, he unknowingly steps on a hornet's nest.
Опа. Я попал.
He leaves a camera down there instead so as not to be stung, but something spins his camera around. I don't know what did that, but it was not a hornet. YouTuber This Is Dan Bell has built a reputation for exploring some of the eeriest abandoned places on Earth. This time, he ventures into an abandoned house just outside Baltimore, the former home of the infamous Stephen Craig Johnson. In 1983, Johnson, in a fit of delusional rage, tragically took the life of his own child. The case became notorious across the East Coast, and ever since, the house has remained untouched, frozen in time. As Dan moves deeper inside, a heavy atmosphere of sorrow and dread lingers in every room. Among the wreckage and discarded belongings, he stumbles upon a strange handwritten letter in a closet. The paper is adorned with illustrations of a woman on both the front and back. A brief paragraph speaks of the house's evil presence and how it might be banished. Some of the handwriting is difficult to decipher, and Dan invites viewers to transcribe it. However, two things about the letter seem off. First, the ink appears too fresh to be from the 1980s. Second, the paper lacks the aging one would expect from something that old. It's unlikely to have been written by anyone from the Johnson family. Perhaps someone else snuck in and left it there in recent years. Despite his growing unease, Dan presses on, climbing to the second floor and eventually into the attic. The air is thick and stale, the space littered with old documents and heaps of trash. Just as he's about to leave, he locks eyes with something unexpected, something that has been watching him all along. A vulture. The scavenger of the dead sits silently on the attic floor, its gaze unnervingly calm, almost expectant. There's something eerie, almost prideful, about the way it looks at him. If this is a real wild animal and not some elaborate setup, then one thing is certain. It's a very bad omen. Published in March 2021, this eerie footage was recorded in France at 11 p.m. Two paranormal investigators explore a decayed home, turning into a dark, empty room, or so it seems. As their flashlight scans the space, something moves. Just beyond a leaning picture frame, a shadowy figure shifts, vanishing the instant light hits it. The movement is so fast that details are unclear, but it was there. The figure appears to rise before slipping out of sight. The Tuan crew cautiously investigates the hallway. They scan every doorway, every shadow, but nothing remains. Did it flee into a room? Or did it simply vanish into thin air?